Welcome to Rainbow Six Siege, a 5v5 competitive FPS with no major narrative and only 3 game types, and more recently, a temporary zombie/alien survival PvE game mode. Let me show you what level of strategy and competition I'm at so you know how great I am. Shut up about it, okay? I don't want to talk about it. Get out of here. Alright, I guess I'll talk about it. I'm not a fan of Overwatch outside of enjoying it with friends occasionally. I don't like MOBAs, RTS games, and a majority of turn-based RPGs. For the most part, I play single-player and cooperative games, but for some reason Siege really draws me in. I think it speaks to my younger self a bit. Playing Call of Duty 2 on my crappy Dell desktop PC, getting way too into it and yelling at the other soldiers like they could actually hear me. Now, I'm not yelling at people in casual matches like our lives depended on it, but being able to strategize, set up our defenses and traps, and then sit quiet for a moment as we begin to hear footsteps pounding on the outside surfaces around us, from ceilings and walls, to hearing them breaching explosions from downstairs. Or being on the reverse side where you're the ones making the anxiety-driven footsteps everywhere outside and randomly exploding the walls to give them a false sense of control in the situation, when really you're running to the other side of the wall ready to make an actual breach. It's honestly a really cool feeling that has yet to wear off for me. Rainbow Six Siege came out in 2015 with mixed reviews, annoying bugs, some balancing issues, and not a lot of content. What has a little over 2 years done to the game? Well, Ubisoft, fairly early on in the game's life, started to adopt the games as a service model for the game, and slowly but surely fixed a lot of its major problems and added many new maps and operators for people to enjoy. Just recently, Year 3 released with 2 new operators in early access for Year 3 pass holders, Lion and Finka. In a recent interview, the devs have stated that they would like to continue to support the game for the next 10 years, saying the goal is to have 100 operators and that no sequel is planned. Normally, I'm into games and movies for the narrative buildup and world building. I really enjoy the Marvel Cinematic Universe for that very reason, so imagine my surprise when I find Siege exciting and actually enjoy a competitive FPS game with no story mode and little world building. So let's get down to business. Rainbow Six Siege has 3 objective-based game modes: Hostage, Bomb, and Secure the Area. Like I said, I'm not one for competitive games, so I'm definitely not the type to learn the meta of a competitive game. I stick with what works for me. I rotate Glaz, Ashe, Twitch, and IQ on offense, Tachanka, Jaeger, Castle, and Caviar on defense. Although with the release of Year 3, all of the base operators have been unlocked, and so have the attachments for all weapons. So I have been experimenting a little bit more. My favorite mode is Hostage, as playing on the offensive gives you a way to pull off a sweet 2-stage attack. Secure the Area is basically just King of the Hill, and Bomb is Search and Destroy. Currently there are 18 maps, each with 3 spawn points and about 3 to 4 objective points. In casual, these are chosen at random, and in ranked, both teams get to choose where they want to spawn and where they want the objective to be. Assuming you have access to all 3 yearly passes, you also have access to choose from 36 different operators, each with their own unique ability and set of weapons and equipment. My favorites right now are Glaz and Castle. Glaz's special ability is actually just a piece of equipment for his main weapon, of what he only has one of, the OTS-03 rifle. It's a flip sight that works as a thermal heat sensor. Add a silencer and he's great for sneaking around the back, popping in a smoke grenade and taking out some enemies, or staying above the map and sniping enemies through the windows. Castle, being a defense operator, has reinforced barricades for windows and doors that are for the most part bulletproof, but not too incredibly overpowered. Actually, Glaz's rifle is one of the few weapons able to penetrate the panels, making him a really good counter to Castle. His 2 primary weapon options are the UMP-45 SMG and the M1014 shotgun. For each round, you're able to choose your loadout right after picking your operator, being able to fully customize them with whatever you have, which thankfully now is pretty much everything because of Year 3. I want to start with defense. You start off filling up your room with traps, reinforcing walls, and barricading doors, maybe giving your teammates some buffs like bulletproof vests. There's also this fun minigame they have, so you have something to do once you're ready but the round hasn't started. It's like trap shooting, but the targets drones are rolling around on the ground, either bouncing around like they're jacked up on 5-hour and Skittles, or shocking you in the butt and rolling back under the bed before they're back out again a few seconds later to play laser tag with you. Except you have a real gun. Try your hand at the shooting gallery for a chance at extra points. If the targets drones don't scan the objective before the setup timer is up, then there's a nice little bonus for you and your teammates. After that little distraction, the enemies are now free to move about the cabin. Depending on who you're playing, it's probably smart to find a well-fitted spot for your operator and wait to hear movement outside. Once that first explosion or gunshot goes off, it's game time. Let's reverse and check out the offense. You start off as a drone targets outside of the spawn area of the enemy team. The drone target selection is limited based on who you play, and all but one of the operators have a unique drone target. The rest are the same. Time to go inside and play some dodgeball. Also, make sure you jump up and down as soon as the round starts or you'll have bad luck. Your objective is to dodge the enemy and scan the objective, as well as pick up the whereabouts of said enemy and what operator they've chosen. Be careful, as 1 shot equals 1 death and you will have 1 chance at this. As soon as the timer is up, so is the round. Did you find the objective? Good. You've won the round and it's onto the net. Wait a minute. I didn't spawn inside. Oh, wait. The round just began. Seriously though, now's the fun part. Breaching. You can choose to run up the side of the building and scale it all the way to the top, finding a breaching point on the roof, and tossing flashbangs, smokes, and impact grenades, dropping in, running for cover, and popping shots off. Or blow through the window or doors and pour in with your teammates for a slower, more tactical approach. Head towards the objective, secure it, defuse it or grab them, and run away. Didn't find the objective in dodgeball and burst into an empty room? Blow up a few walls and charge into another. Or drop another floor and toss in more explosives. Or even go back outside and scale up the building even further. The strategic possibilities are almost endless. At the end of each match, your chances of getting an alpha pack increases. And if you win the match, the amount of chance you gain is higher than losing. When you win, your chance may be used up to roll for one alpha pack. If you get one, you start back at 0%. Thankfully, this is the type of system I don't think too many mind in a game, as it's only weapon and operator skins and weapon charms. Some legendary items are also possible, and it may take a bit more before you even get one. You could buy some of the premium currency that's only usable on cosmetic items and operator bundles to buy an alpha pack, but in all honesty, it doesn't affect the game in a negative way. Also, duplicates are possible, but don't happen very often, and you'll instead receive renown for them. Is it time to talk about what I don't like? I guess so. Alright. The matchmaking is pretty bad, at least in casual. In my experience, I feel far too often I get matched with people of a way higher skill level. There's also a good amount of trolls that can ruin a full match by either team killing every other round, or just screaming and running into the enemy team and getting killed right away. I've also gotten into matches with actual children, or at least on the microphone. I don't know who's letting their kids play this game, but I want to say one thing. Just say no. They can wait to play with older people. Hearing them screech and call everything unbalanced when they die is annoying. Or yelling racial slurs, dank memes. It just really makes me want to give up playing for a little bit. Them jumping onto your account so they play with us, but they're still at a level 1 skill level, doesn't help either. But there's also something that's not entirely the fault of the game. It's the amount of players that makes it to where the more matches you play in one game session, the more likely you are to run into the same players. At least that's been my experience on PC. That one guy who dominated you in your last match can and most likely will do it again. And the same way that last match you dominated, it may happen again, which can feel pretty great when you're saving for the shiny new operator or weapon skin. But as good as that may feel, the balance is negatively affected, and thus the game as a whole suffers. As the meat of the game is online PvP based, I don't think situations has a cult following. As good as some of the weapons feel, especially the shotguns when you blast a hole in not only the wall, but the guy in between your crosshairs, others like SMGs and pistols don't always feel as good to use. I guess some of this could be chalked up to realism, but there's something to be said about game feel and how the balance between realism and arcadiness? Is that a word? That's probably not a word, whatever. Anyway, the balance between realism and arcadiness is important in games like this. Yes, the people who play exclusive competitively won't care as much and will choose the best meta they can, as well as the people who enjoy more realistic games. But for people like me, I just like what feels punchy and almost unrealistically powerful. Maps for the most part are well designed, and it's a slightly bigger than average, but there are maps where the defense can spawn snipe way too easily without any effort, and it's frustrating to start the round confident but instantly get shot down as soon as you step out of spawn. Thankfully I don't run into this as often, but I'm sure I'm not the only one. Also, they have said that they'll be reworking some maps within year 3, so maybe some of the maps that are the worst offenders will be a part of that agenda. Honestly, I feel like there's probably more cons I can find, but that would require quite a bit more playtime on other operators I either don't care about already or don't have, so I feel my opinion on them might be pretty useless. There's 5 versions of the game available on Steam, so it's a little confusing. Let's do a quick rundown. Ready? The starter edition for $15 US has a slower progression rate for unlocking operators, and I'll add a link to the description that explains it in full detail. Otherwise, you have full access to the game still, and in the same way Year 3 improves a lot of things, the starter edition is also better than it used to be. Be warned, I do not believe that there's an easy way of upgrading to even the standard edition, so make sure you choose carefully. There's also the standard edition, which I just mentioned, is $40 US, and is, well, standard. It doesn't have anything. Advanced Edition comes with 600 Rainbow Six credits, the premium but totally optional currency, and 10 Outbreak collection packs, as well as the current year's pass, which presumably changes every year, all for $60. Finally, the complete edition is $130 and comes with all previous perks, as well as Year 1 and Year 2 operators. Let's wrap this up. This is the first game in a long drought of me not enjoying a game for longer than an hour before dropping it, that I picked up at 3 p.m. only wanting to try it out, and boom, it's 6 hours later and I forgot to eat something. Is it a perfect game? No. Do I fully understand it enough to make an even longer video than this? Yeah. Absolutely not. Only just getting it in December of last year, I may be a little late to the party, but man do I really enjoy this game. I'm gonna give this game a 3.5 clangs out of 5. Great, but not perfect, and really addicting for those one more matchitis type of players. Especially if you're at 50% chance and still haven't gotten an alpha pack yet.
CrossForge Gaming is proud to be a partner with HumbleBundle.com. Pay what you want for a selection of fantastic games and support your favorite charities, game developers, and us here at CrossForge Gaming too if you want. Pay more than average to unlock additional games and content, or pay a little bit more than that for a lot more great content as well. Once you've decided how much you'd like to pay, you can adjust what percentage of your money goes to the charity or to the developer. You can even set some of it aside to help Humble Bundle with their costs, or send some of it over to us at CrossForge Gaming. Humble Bundle offers game bundles, book bundles, bundles to help you learn new skills, and even a Loot Crate style Humble Monthly Bundle, which gets you some awesome games every month for just only $12. They even have a regular store where you can buy lots of games, including my favorite game of all time, Hollow Knight. 10 of 10, definitely recommend. So, click the Humble Partner link in the description below the video and get yourself some great content and help out your favorite charities.